Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is getting extremely close to breaking this pattern, while Ethereum is flashing a new signal in the short term, which I'll talk about later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin to US dollar chart, and over the last one day, not a lot has changed here on the daily time frame, because obviously as of right now, the price of Bitcoin has not yet confirmed a break below 27,000, which means at least as of right now, we're still looking relatively neutral in terms of the phase in the markets that we're currently in, which is essentially what I've been saying almost every day over the last few weeks. I've been saying that we're most likely going to basically chop around sideways here on the daily time frame here for a few weeks now, and obviously so far that's pretty much exactly what we have seen as expected. But if we actually confirm a break below 27,000 with at least a daily candle close back below 27,000, then in that case we would likely see a drop down towards this area in between 24,000 to around 25,000 approximately. And now if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin price oscillators, as of right now, these are actually starting to flip a little bit more bearish rather than just neutral, because for example, the RSI is already forming lower highs, but right now it is potentially forming a lower low. And if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this is currently beginning to gain a little bit of bearish momentum, at least for now on the daily time frame. And if you're looking at the last time where we saw a downtrend begin to form in the daily Bitcoin RSI during this uptrend in the price action on the daily time frame, that was right back here, because obviously as you can see back here during around February to March, we saw a downtrend in the daily Bitcoin RSI forming lower highs and lower lows, which was basically a signal on the chart telling us that we are looking quite weak in terms of this bullish momentum. And so this was actually signaling a bit of a pause or setback from the bullish trend, which is exactly what we saw back then. And right now we are seeing a similar signal in the daily Bitcoin RSI. Once again, a downtrend basically forming because we're seeing lower highs and potentially now lower lows, which is telling us we're likely going to at least see a continued pause from this larger bullish trend, but possibly a setback from the trend, a pullback, kind of like what we saw back here before we continue higher later on. And also what's interesting is if you measure out that pullback that we saw during late February and early March from the local high down to the local low, that was around a 22% move to the downside approximately. And if you measure the same sized movement from this local high at around 31,000, a 22% move to the downside would put us at around 24.2k approximately. And obviously that falls right into this price range, which should be acting as supports. So those are just a few of the reasons as to why I'll be targeting around 24 to 25,000 next if we first break below 27,000 with confirmation, which as of right now we have not yet seen. But anyway, now taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart, and right now as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is running along this important line of support, which is sitting at approximately 27.4k. And as of right now, we are yet to see a confirmed break below this support line with candle closes or a possible retest, flipping that previous support into new resistance. Once again, as of right now, we simply do not have that confirmed break to the downside. But if we do end up confirming a break to the downside below that support level, then in that case, that would set up a technical price target based on this triangle pattern at around 24.1k. And so obviously that also perfectly aligns with this area of support on the daily time frame, and also aligns with the same size movement as to what we saw back here during February and March, which was simply a pullback within a larger bullish trend. So once again, it's still possible for the price to basically break below this support, head all the way down towards around 24,000. Of course, in the short term, that would be bearish, but it's still possible to continue the larger bullish trend on the daily time frame, even in that case, for as long as 24,000 holds as support. But once again, as of right now, that technical price target is not currently in play. It is not yet active because we are yet to see a confirmed break below this support. And as for resistance, in case this support holds again and we see another bounce back to the upside, then in that case, we have this descending line of resistance at around 29.2k approximately. But anyway, now getting into the shorter term, this is on the 4-hour Bitcoin to US dollar chart. And right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is bouncing off this short-term support level at around 27.2k. And obviously, this is happening after that quick drop to the downside that we saw yesterday down to this area of support in between 26.6k to 26.8k, which held up perfectly as support. And now you might be wondering what actually happened with that move that we saw yesterday, because obviously we got those good CPI inflation numbers, which came in slightly underneath expectations, causing the Bitcoin price to initially rally. But then not long after that played out, we obviously saw that quick drop to the downside, and that was basically caused by some fake news. There was a tweet circulating over on Twitter saying that apparently the US government is about to dump a lot of Bitcoin on the market, and so due to that, a lot of people began panic selling their Bitcoin ahead of what they thought was going to be a major dump by the US government. But instead, that turned out to be fake news, and essentially it didn't end up happening. But what did end up happening was that panic selling. We did obviously see the panic selling in the crypto market, a bunch of people just selling their Bitcoin in anticipation of a possible dump by the US government. But because that US government Bitcoin dump didn't actually happen as that tweet was suggesting, we ended up seeing a quick bounce back to the upside, and essentially the price returned to back where we started around 1 to 2 days ago. And as always, I made sure to keep you updated in real time over on my Twitter throughout that crazy movement. So if you don't already follow me on my Twitter, make sure you're doing that. The link is down below in the description and in the pinned comment if you want to stay up to date in real time during crazy moves like this. But now what is interesting is that despite that quick move to the downside and then back up again, the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is still currently forming higher lows and higher highs as of right now, which is technically a bullish signal, at least in the shorter term, telling us that the price is beginning to gain a little bit more strength and momentum simply based on history. Because obviously, as we can see time and time again, basically any time where the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI begins to form higher lows and higher highs, that usually acts as an early sign telling us that we're beginning to gain a little bit more bullish momentum again, as we've seen these past 3 times in a row. And so unless we're just about to see a break to the downside in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI below this line of support, then we're likely going to see at least some neutral price action in the short term, but perhaps a little bit of a bullish recovery due to the fact that the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI is currently beginning an uptrend. So once again, in terms of the short-term trend and momentum, since all the way up here, I have been leaning more bearish than bullish, but just over the last 1 day, as I also mentioned in my last video, we're beginning to see these early bullish confirmation signals pointing towards a possible reversal from this bearish trend into a new short-term bullish trend. And in that case, if we do end up seeing a bit more of a recovery in the Bitcoin price in the short term, then we would likely find some resistance in this area in between around 28.7k to around 29k. But before that price range, we have now established some short-term resistance around 28.3k, and just below that area, we could find a little bit of resistance at around 27.8k. And now, just before getting into the Ethereum part of this video, I'll first let you know about a method to quickly gain a 40% profit. And that method is to simply claim the new Bybit bonus. Because if you simply make a new Bybit account using the first link down below in the description or in the pinned comment, then in just a few minutes, you can gain yourself a 40% deposit bonus by depositing $100 or more and making a few trades. Because in order to get the initial 10 USDT deposit bonus, you simply need to deposit $100 worth of crypto and then trade $500 worth of crypto. So for example, that could be buying $100 worth of Bitcoin and then selling that $100 worth of Bitcoin and then buying it again up to $500 worth of trading volume. But in order to trade over on Bybit, of course, you need to complete KYC, which would also gain you another 20 USDT bonus just by completing KYC and depositing that $100. And on top of that, there's also another 10 USD welcome gifts by simply completing KYC and doing a few trades, which essentially gets all of these other bonuses. So obviously that adds up to a $40 bonus just by depositing $100 and making a few trades. And in case you're wondering, you can actually claim larger bonuses here for this initial deposit bonus. But of course, to claim some of these larger bonuses, you need to deposit and trade more crypto. And this is also for a limited time only once you make your account. So if you want to check all of this out for yourself, once again, it will be in the first link down below in the description and in the pinned comment, and then just head over to the rewards hub over on Bybit. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And over the last one day, not a lot has changed here on this chart, because obviously as of right now, the price of ETH is still running into this important area of support, which is sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And below that area of support, in case we actually see a confirmed break below 1770, then in that case, we have this lower area of support in between around 1650 to 1.7k. And now as for the momentum here in the daily Ethereum price oscillators, these are starting to look a little bit more bearish rather than just neutral, because for example, the daily Ethereum RSI right now is on the edge of potentially making a new lower low, while the daily Ethereum MACD is slowly beginning to gain a little bit more bearish momentum as of right now. But so far, we're still looking relatively neutral at the moment on the daily time frame, like I've been saying pretty much every day over the last 2 weeks, meaning we're most likely going to see some choppy sideways price action here on the daily time frame, which obviously means short-term bullish and bearish price action. But at least for now, this is still occurring within a larger bullish trend here on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, because if you're looking at the larger lows and highs, obviously we're still in a higher high, higher low price structure. And obviously, like I said earlier, for Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we did end up seeing a large pullback during late February, entering into early March during this bullish trend, which for the price of ETH was another 22% move to the downside, similar to Bitcoin. And so if you measure a 22% move to the downside from this local high in the price of ETH, that actually places us right into this lower area of support in between around 1650 to 1.7k. And so once again, it's still possible for the price of ETH to play out a pullback of that size and still be within a larger bullish trend, just like what we saw back here. But anyway, now zooming into the shorter term, this is on the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, as of recording this video, the price of ETH is potentially forming a bullish divergence pattern, because obviously the price of ETH is now forming lower lows in the 4-hour candle closes, while the 4-hour Ethereum RSI is currently forming higher lows. But it is important to mention that as of right now, this potential bullish divergence is not yet confirmed, because in order for this to be confirmed, first of all, we need to confirm this lower low in place in the price action, and then we would need to confirm this higher low in place in the RSI. And to do that, we would need to see at least 1 to 2 4-hour candle closes in the green after confirming this lower low in the price. So essentially, as of right now, this is potentially forming, but it is not yet confirmed. But obviously, if we do end up seeing this bullish divergence confirm, then just like what we saw back here, we could likely see a return in short-term bullish momentum, or at the very least, some sort of pause from this short-term bearish trend that I've been talking about since all the way back up here. So once again, just like I said in my last video on the channel, we could likely see a return in some bullish momentum and a bit more of a reversal in terms of the short-term trend and momentum if we, of course, see a little bit more confirmation here. But for now, we are still currently looking a little bit more bearish than bullish. It's just we could soon see a bit more of a reversal if we see some more confirmation. And as for support and resistance, first of all, we have this level of support at around 1810, which over the last one day has been holding up quite well. But if we see a confirmed break well below 1810 and back below around 1.8k, then in that case, we could likely see a drop back down towards around 1.7k, because we have this area of support in between around 1.7k to 1730. And as for resistance, in case we do end up seeing a bit more of a recovery in the short term, then in that case, we could find a bit of short-term resistance at around 1880 approximately, but above that, we have more significant resistance in this price range in between around 1920 to 1950. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways like right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money in either a bullish or bearish trend, and the video in the bottom left shows you how to make money if the price is chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.